Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video and to my 2000 subscriber special. Obviously a massive thank you to all of you that have subscribed, liked and commented on my videos. Obviously I do really appreciate it and it does mean a lot. This is a slightly different special to what my previous one was, where I have brought Aesop onto the channel again and we are going to be doing a Q&A style podcast session where you guys have obviously submitted some of your questions already. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get through all of the questions that were asked. So if you happen to not see your question in the video and would like to ask it to Aesop and myself again, you can find both of us on my Discord server, which is linked down below. Obviously, a massive thank you to Aesop for joining me again on this. And I do hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously, a like comment is always much appreciated. And just to mention quickly, obviously, the background footage is going to be mainly just Grand Arena footage from the first week of this 3v3 season. That just hasn't unfortunately made it onto my channel because I didn't have the best of weeks for the first week. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. Well, the first question we have from Toom G, and it's for both of us. How long have you been playing the game and how long a day do you usually play?
So for me, that was easy. I think I opened my account at the end of 2018, like on a plane, traveling for work. And I was like, oh, I'll check this game out. And then I was like, I don't care for it. And then I put it down. And then, again, on a plane, beginning of 2019, I was like, all right, let me screw around with this. And I, got hooked. And so I think I really started playing in 2019 and kind of been playing ever since. So
I always remember when you first came into the Alliance, I was joking around saying that I remember when I had doubled Aesop's GP and now he's like fifth in the world on GG. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Time and effort.
But yeah, I've been playing the game a couple years more than you. I think I started in March 2016. So the game came out, I think, December 2015. And then I was like a few months after that. I basically got hooked on it after all my friends at university were playing it, eventually. And then they all stopped playing it. And I'm literally the only one left still playing it.
They all tapped out early. So you were hooked right from the beginning? Like right at the beginning, you knew this was the game?
Yeah, I think like the early game it was so different to what it is now. Like we didn't have obviously any Galactic Legends or anything. We had I remember when first all TIE Pilot came out and he was an absolute monster. Did so much damage. I think it must have been roughly around when I started. And then CG actually had to nerf his damage output because he did so much damage. It's one of my early memories from the game.
Like. I mean, when I first actually started playing was when DR dropped, and I remember rushing to get DR and then trying to like manically do the Malik event. I had 0 Zetas, right? I'm super Zeta poor. I had no Zetas on my JKR or any of that old Republic team, and trying to do that event for like hours and hours trying to pull that off with nothing. So
yeah, that is the trouble. In terms of how long I play a day, usually it kind of really depends on what's actually going on in the game. During Grand Arena weeks, I think it's probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half a day, just because it takes me a while to go through the walls and stuff. And then downtime is probably around about half an hour to 45 minutes, just do dailies and things and check the stores when they refresh. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, again, I figured out how to like auto pretty much all the TV battles and plow through conquest as fast as possible and do all that the chore stuff. But yeah, Grand Arena is definitely where I spend the most time. That and territory wars. On big territory war days, that'll spend a bunch of time, several hours, checking in, working with the guild, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously for Grand Arena, 3 especially takes for freaking ever. I usually break that up into chunks. Like a lot of time I'll do some battles the night before, and then the following day I'll try to finish it up. And to all my opponents out there, it is not strategy. It's just fitting it into real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 1 to 2 hours. There is some extra time where honestly, it probably doesn't account for actually in game, where I'm like thinking through whatever, just like doing dishes or something, counters or whatever, Just like shower time thinking through, I wonder if Han could work in this team, whatever it happens to be. There's stuff like that. It's like the fun stuff.
Yeah, it's like even when I'm watching, every time I watch a Star Wars show, I don't know about you, but I'm always thinking like, oh, that'd be really cool if that was in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Yes, exactly.
Just like it consumes my mind.
Oh yeah, definitely characters, things like that for sure. So
that kind of leads me on to the next question. Obviously, you mentioned about you've got quite a large account. You're able to do most of your TB battles on water and things. Sevvel has asked for both of us whether we think the game would probably be more fun. Obviously, bearing in mind whether we take away our account sizes, whether we think it might be more fun to play on a late game account, so 10 million GP plus, or a smaller early mid game account.
To be honest, I have no idea. I haven't been a small account in a while. I think there's obviously fun stuff with being a big account where you get to play with all the new toys, right? And
yeah.
You can try stuff, but usually I'm going up against big account stuff. And so it's just kind of a different game. I would be curious. I know a lot of other streamers, and maybe some for you too, have started like the beginner FTP accounts, because there are new players joining the game, which is fantastic. I think it's good for the health and growth of the game.
Yeah.
But I think there are a lot of lower mid-level players out there. And I can imagine it's kind of fun with some of those constraints where each other don't have all the tools, and so it's about maximizing the tools you have and the strategy game that kind of comes along with that. So
I think it kind of also depends on what the type of person you are, because I kind of said it would probably be like a mixture of both, in that it might be fun to actually like farm. You have like all these characters in front of you, and it might be really fun to just farm and work up all the characters that you can get. And then obviously it's also fun having all the characters to use at the same time, so it's kind of a mixture of both. But like you were saying, obviously a lot of streamers doing their early accounts, like free-to-play accounts, or starting over again. It's one of those things where I just, when I look back at obviously when I started the game, things are so different now to obviously how I started. So every time I look at things from an early game or mid-game account, what they might want to do, I'm always a bit like, I don't really know. Because I was saying I'm not there, so, and I don't really know. Like we have Galactic Legends and things now, and all these new ships and stuff. So I don't really know most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. What is it? I don't know idea. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what it's like to play at that level anymore. Like picking, one faction to go all in on to try to get a Galactic Legend, or do you like have fun and just pick a bunch of random like B factions and try to, work your off meta counters? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So.
I definitely feel like it's probably more fun in terms of like your engagement with the game, because obviously we tend to end up just waiting a lot of the time for the next thing. At the moment, you're probably layer ready, I guess. You've done all that. You're ready for layer.
I'm waiting. I want Drogon to drop this week, and I'm hearing rumors that he's probably not going to drop till next week. So I'm like, come on, drop him this week. Layer right after. I'm ready. Let's do this. But yeah, 2 R9s ready, so I'm ready to go.
Damn. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at, just a bit obviously before you on the free-to-play side of things, where I've got all the layer requirements ready. I'm just waiting for marquees, and there's kind of that stagnant part of being a late game player, right, which is probably quite boring, I suppose. Whereas obviously if you're an early to mid game account, there's always something you could be doing, or there's like something to work on, I suppose. But there's
and that's I guess the fun part about, and I know a lot of people don't like Datacrons, but I kind of like them because they do create, like, there's so much to do with the new set that just dropped. The set 10, and trying to figure out like different things you can do with the 75% damage and the different stuff you can do with the Wookiees and all of this. Because again, I have all these tools. There's just so much to play with.
Yeah.
And I'm learning. My butt kicked doing a counter against the Wookiees with the 75% reduction when I wasn't timing the hits to kill them. And so I just had no chance. I just like kept trying to hit this Chewie, but he kept having over 75% when it was my turn. It was in a Padme Moff Gideon team, and I just doing no damage. Like I was just like, even like 30 stacks of courage, just pow, nothing. I was like, all right, apparently this really does shut down all the damage, And so these fun things you find and learn with the new sets, and try to then figure out how to kind of use them and play with them. And I don't know, at least I'm having fun. This is, why I like the game, is this fun strategy stuff with the new tools.
Yeah, there's definitely more theory craft opportunities with the higher GP you get, basically, because that normally means you have better mods and you can get more datacrons and things from Conquest and stuff. So there's also that to look forward to.
Yeah.
So I guess for the next question is from Sam. It's for both of us again. It is, what is our favorite Star Wars character and why? And what's our favorite Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes character and why?
You want to go first?
I can go first, I suppose. So my favorite Star Wars character, as you might have guessed from my account name, is Han Solo. Obviously my account name is Jam Solo. I just like Han's character from the get-go. When I saw him, I kind of feel like he got a bit done dirty from his death in the sequels, but
oh, absolutely.
I do like his whole like gunslinging and his wit and like his friendship and loyalty he has with Chewbacca. I think that's just like really cool, and I've always kind of liked that character. Just something a bit different that for a Star Wars you just think of like Jedi or Sith or something, and then there's obviously a scoundrel in between, and I don't know, more.
What about for Swag or for Galaxy Heroes?
For Galaxy Heroes, my favorite character, just from the game itself and obviously from Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, is Starkiller.
Nice.
I really enjoy using Starkiller, and I just felt like there's a lot of opportunities for him, especially with like the Datacron sets and things where he has a lot of versatility, and obviously his kit is just all about damage. And it is just super satisfying when you get like a massive AoE basic and like the whole team dies or something like that.
Yeah, when you can bring the ship down, and he is a lot of fun.
That's a really satisfying animation as well, with the pulling the Star Destroyer down.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
What about you?
For me, I mean, I liked Han and Chewie, the classics, even some of the Ewoks, all that stuff. But for me, it's got to be Darth Vader. I think he's one of the most iconic characters, ever. One of the greatest villains.
Yeah.
I'm actually watching the Rebels show for the first time, like while I'm at the gym or whatever, trying to like catch up and get ready for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I'd never watched it before, and just like when he shows up, you're like, oh wow, it's Vader. It's just impactful, and like even non-Star Wars fans know who Darth Vader is, right? And it's just, he is kind of the pinnacle of, exactly. And I think that's fantastic that he's kind of crossed everything. He's there. So
I think
the hallway scene and everything else.
Yeah,
too,
I was just about to say about that Rogue One scene that happened by accident.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even meant to be in the film, but then they just added it in.
Yeah.
I think it was an editor or something that suggested it, or one of the writers like very late on just suggested they added it in, and obviously it's gone down as like one of the best scenes in Star Wars history. Just
exactly
that's one scene. It's amazing.
Exactly, because he is so iconic, right? I mean, that's the thing, right?
Yeah, he's known for being quite fearful. Like you see him and you'll be terrified, and I think that Rogue One scene like perfectly shows that, with obviously the rebels' faces as soon as he ignites his lightsaber in that hallway. It's like, oh my god.
Exactly. Well, even in the new like Kenobi show where he like grabs the ship, with the Force and like all these things, like he's
rips
just
it apart. Yeah,
absolutely, just like epically powerful, right? And it shows that immense power. I don't know, it's fun. And then that leads me to my Galaxy of Heroes is also Darth Vader, but the pre-nerf Darth Vader. One of my most
Galactic
favorite
Legend killing
things.
Darth Vader.
Oh my god, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I just those setting up and all the different Ray comps and trying to like set it up and all that stuff was just so much fun. Trying like different weird things, and then even when he had his Datacron and he was just like the solo artist, like you'd kill him and then he'd go into MM and just like wipe your whole team out.
Yeah.
That was just I missed that. Obviously he's not where he is, but I still keep my fantastic mods on him to keep him set up for his next revival. So
yeah, when he gets his next Datacron, which I imagine will probably come around again. For any of you guys that are watching, my 1K special was to do with the Darth Vader Datacron. I did the whole, well, it wasn't like a meme thing, I suppose, about Darth Vader's Datacron expiring, because obviously I was quite sad that it was a very fun Datacron to use.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. So,
well, I guess following along those lines, Dark General 999 has asked both of us what's our favorite and least favorite top tier teams to use in Galaxy Heroes and why. Did you want to start this one?
Sure, I can kick this one off. The team that I've been really enjoying a lot is the Inquisitors. I know that with Reva, just the sheer damage output from that team has been a lot of fun. Just wiping out kind of whatever I want. I was using them to kill Jabba for a while, and they can still work for that. And obviously, they can kill all the Jedi teams and everything. And there's just, battles last 30 seconds, and you just crush everybody. And it's, a lot more fun than all these timeout battles that were happening.
Yeah, for sure. Deathmark helps
the
a lot with
newest
that.
team, yes, Deathmark helps. But even outside of GAC, right, do it in arena and just start smashing stuff.
Yeah, true.
I love modding Eighth Brother for a crazy offense and just watching his AoE just pummel teams. So
Fair enough.
The one B to that though is the Phoenix with Rex and their new Rextron is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mixing matching that team is just, I can kill Jabba, I can kill LV with it, in arena I can do all these things, and it's just like, it's crazy. So
wait, you can beat Jabba with Rex and Phoenix?
Yes, you can.
What, even in Grand Arena?
In Grand Arena.
What the hell? Wait, in 5s?
In 5s.
Oh my god. I need to relic up my Phoenix.
Yes, they're fantastic. It gets a little sketchy, not gonna lie. You gotta survive and hope, and there's some modding and stuff that goes to it, but you'll see people starting to do this in the next coming season.
So it just requires like a really fast Rex.
Well, it's not just the Rex, it's the you gotta live through the opening, because they're gonna go first, right? They're gonna get up and running. But the Rex day is just like, helps slow them down, and then you get your TM rolling, but you just have to live kind of the opening boosh bombs. This is where having a fast Hera, make sure you get your, revive on the right character and you survive. Then you can get rolling and just take them down.
Quite interested to see that. That'd be quite funny seeing Jabba being beaten by Phoenix.
No, I think they can do even more. I'm just, scratching the surface of what they can do, but it's pretty amazing. So,
what's your least favorite team? Like, what don't you like using?
Least favorite team? I really don't like using Malgus. I stick him on defense just because, I don't know, something about the dunk and all of that. It's just like you sit there and just take a bunch of damage, and then you kind of put some out and hope they get feared, and it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. I was kind of hoping for more fun stuff with that kit and what happened. And I know there's Malgus fans out there, but I've tried it a couple times, bringing Malgus for offense, and I'm like, I don't like it. I know he gets beat pretty easily on defense, but I know what counters he'll pull, and I'll stick him there and figure something else out for offense. So
fair enough.
What about you?
I suppose my favorite team to use at the moment is Huck's First Order, and I'm mainly talking about Grand Arena here with First Order TIE Pilots Omicron. I just love that team. It's just like it's kind of like what the Troopers are like, where it's just a blitz them down quickly sort of team.
Yeah.
Especially with Sith Troopers Datacron and things now. It's a really fun team to and quite satisfying when like Sith Trooper assists for like 200k on a basic, and it's like, wow, okay. But yeah, nice. Just really enjoying that team at the moment, in 3s and 5s, which is really good counter against Afra, because I'm seeing Afra a lot on defense at the moment. Obviously Huck's there with his stopping his turn meter gain, stops Afra from going at the beginning, which is nice.
Yep. Nice.
And then my least favorite is probably a bit controversial. I don't like using JML very much anymore. I find his kit and just like his whole team quite boring. Obviously you do get those like really nice hits of like his whatever his lead ability is called, something teachings, isn't it, like Jedi teachings or something like that?
Jedi teachings or Jedi lessons, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know, I think like he's one of those characters, well, especially like on the Galactic Legend front, where he's still obviously a very good character, don't get me wrong, but just like using him on offense, I just find it really just, I don't know, it's just something really boring. It doesn't feel like satisfying as like a Dark Trooper punch or like a Star Killer one shot or something like that. I don't know. It might be different with like Jedi Knight Cal. I don't have Jedi Knight Cal yet, so I don't know whether that'll make much of a difference if I have to use Jedi Knight Cal with JML. But
I usually use Jedi Knight Cal elsewhere, break them off from JML.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. I mean, it's just like the true damage that you're just kind of like, one shot true damage thing. You don't really see like this big giant number pop up, like bam, giant yellow, 5 million damage, even though you're doing a boatload of damage if you're, high protection, etc. But
I will say
I get it.
I will say though, when he does get his ultimate, when he does his F-Lux after that, and that does quite a bit of extra damage, that is quite satisfying. But just like building up his ultimate and like using the team, I just find quite tedious and quite boring. I don't know why. So it's not really something. I don't know why. That's one of the first teams that just came to my head when I thought about it. That JML was going to be up there, I think.
Yeah, I get it. I can understand. I can see that. It's kind of just vanilla, boring. Kind of, it usually works, but it's not fun. No big hits, nothing tricky, clever, etc. So
yeah. And talking about least favorite teams, going on to some characters that we could potentially avoid. So that is from JulioCandelas. I think that's how you say it. And he's asked both of us, do we have any characters that we would avoid and any Zetas to avoid? Obviously, there are some really obvious ones, but there might be some ones that might be not so obvious that we could maybe suggest to avoid.
So I've found uses for pretty much everybody. Like I even use Cup and so on. I've like used everybody. But the people I keep trying to use that never seem to work out for me was Lobot, although I think that's changing now with the rework. So I'm excited to see what we can happen with what we can get with Lobot. But Bodhi has constantly disappointed me. I have an R9 Bodhi for TB for the guild. Yeah. And I keep trying to use him in all sorts of places, and he keeps not doing anything useful. And he has the Zeta. That doesn't really do anything either. The poor man needs a ship.
Yeah, it does. Give him a shuttle or something.
Yeah. He's a pilot, doesn't have a ship.
Yeah, no, that'd be what actually like boost him up a bit in viability. Not the actual character, but his ship that comes with him.
Exactly. Like, if you're not going to rework his kit or give him an Omicron or give him anything useful, please. Like, he doesn't fit on any team. Like, there's all these Rebel teams out there, right? With Rebel fighters, and he doesn't fit on any of them. Like, how is that possible? Like, I keep wanting the same tunes for Adrad, for Saw, for MM.
Yeah.
And Bodhi is R9. I have him R9. I have him well modded, and he just doesn't make the team. So.
Yeah. I think one of my characters that I would mention to avoid would be Admiral Trench. I know
you don't like Trench?
I know you like Trench.
I love Trench.
I know you like Trench, but I feel like for a lot of people that maybe don't max conquest and things that might be slightly worried about missing him, the team, I don't know if you'd agree with me, does take quite a bit of investment mods wise and the actual team itself to get running.
And relics. Yep.
Yeah.
You need high relics on that team.
So it's quite an expensive team, and obviously Trench is a conquest character, so you're not going to be able to farm him up very quickly with the months. And I don't know, for me personally, I haven't really got a whole lot of use out of my Trench, but my Trench is only like Relic 3, and I didn't bother going for his Datacron or anything, so it's just for my personal side of things.
I can see that, and I've heard that opinion from a lot of others before too. But I mean, he needs to be thick. If he is thick and doesn't die quick, oh my god, he can be really annoying and cause a lot of problems for a lot of counters.
Yeah.
My Trench gets a bunch of holds, both in TW and in GAC, and it's fun.
Because I think
both on offense and defense. Yeah.
One of my main problems with him is that the optimal team requires Watt. So obviously, win Grand Arena a lot of times you don't really get to use Watt with Trench. Obviously,
well, maybe in your Grand Arenas.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true actually. But I mean, what normally goes with like SLK or C with something against like another Galactic Legend or another good team, so it kind of gets left away from the Trench side of things. I don't know what would you say is probably the optimal like lineup for him in 3s and 5s
for Trench. So I'm running Trench, Dooku, Watt right now, and getting holds with it against some of the best players in the game. It is an annoying team. You can beat it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like unbeatable, but it's one of like the B teams on my thing. It gets tough.
That is Boltcron.
Boltcron. You make them super thick, and then the techs get out, and Dooku puts everybody under stealth, and they get rolling. Fearing, shocking, ability blocking, all that fun stuff, right? With the Sithron for Dooku.
Yeah.
And then plus Watt's there for a revive. It's tough.
Have your opponents told you what tech gets put out?
From what I can tell, the tech priority is random. I've tried all different modding strategies to try to get it so that he puts the tank tech on somebody intentionally, then I can plan. Doesn't work. Not that I've found anyway. Maybe somebody out there is more clever than me. It's very possible. If you do, please DM me. But I get to figure it out. So.
Yeah. Going on to the second part of the question for me, for the Zetas to avoid. I know a lot of people have fallen into this trap with Death Trooper. He has a Zeta on his unique, but it's only for Krennic. And obviously Krennic is never used anywhere, so just don't waste your Zetas on Death Trooper or Krennic thinking that it's going to help your Imperial Troopers, because it's not going to help you at all there.
Well, I'm hopeful that some of that might change with the new Gideon. We'll see if they do any like tag reworks or kit reworks when they drop Gideon.
Or you reckon Krennic might become an Imperial Trooper or something?
Yeah, and then that could change things, right? Then he become way more useful.
Yeah,
So,
Krennic he's a great character. Like he actually does a decent amount of damage and stuff.
oh, absolutely.
But like his Gran Arena Omicron doesn't look that bad. It looks like it could be quite fun if you could just like theory craft a good team. But obviously he's just let down by tags. Is the only thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I have both Krennic and Death Trooper Zetas because I did a GOTB run with them and I got 4 out of 4 and that's GOTB because I was just bored of trying the same teams and I wanted to do some theory crafting, so I ended up giving those 8s, but kind of wish I hadn't done, obviously with me being so Zeta poor at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely want to find something useful for them. I have all those their Omicrons and their Zetas too, and I want to find something useful for them, but I think it's just my feeling is that they're kind of next on the marquee group list to get reworked and get added, especially with them being needed. Or I don't think Krennic is, but I think Death Trooper is for the new raid. I think they'll find more marquees to help support them.
Yeah, they don't even need like a massive rework. They just need like some little kit touch-ups here and there.
Well, they're not going to get the kit touch-ups. That's where you get the new marquee to spend the money on that has a unique, that does all the touch-ups for all of them, right? That's kind of like full Snow Trooper or whomever else, right, to the group and maximize them all.
Fair enough. Yeah, that probably would be the case. They do like to add their characters just to fill out teams now.
Exactly.
Which brings me on to the next question, which was for both of us, and let's get it like in American. If y'all could add any character to the game, who would it be? Mine would be Mandalore from KOTOR 2. I love both the KOTOR games and Old Republic, and that is from GunnyThePunisher.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun. On that, the Mandalore theme, I would like some more Mandalorians. So I was thinking like as Vizsla.
Oh my god, he's literally on my list.
He would be fantastic. I do think he's going to come. I think they'll add some more Mandalorians when they start doing the Mandalorian season, whatever that just happened content.
Yeah,
because they're usually about a year behind on. It seems like so.
That minigun, and obviously when he takes on the whole. Everyone at the
Praetorian
end.
Guards. I mean, that'd be fun. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I want some Praetorian Guards too, obviously. So
yeah, he'd make a great Mandalorian tank. We don't. Well, the only tank we've got is Gar Saxon, and he sucks. So.
Well, maybe they find somebody to make Gar Saxon good. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, maybe they'll have Paz in. That'll make him good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Praetorian Guards would be a good one. That might actually. I'm interested to see because also you've got Beskar Gideon coming, so maybe. We might.
That feels like the start of that content. So that's why I'm hopeful that we might get some more from that season.
Yeah, and with Ahsoka coming around the corner, they do seem to be actively doing stuff for the series, obviously giving away Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum for free and stuff. So I don't know whether they're actually planning on releasing some content like they did with because I think like when Bad Batch came out, they were very close to the release of Bad Batch. So I don't know whether we might get some Mandalorian Ahsoka sort of things going forward. Be quite interesting. But the only other character I had on my one that I did a top. Well, I had characters that I would like to see in 2023 list that I did in December of last year and uploaded. And one of my first characters I put on there was probably never going to happen, but I would really like to see Tobias Beckett from Solo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think when Solo came out and they added all those characters, I think their main problem when they had Tobias Beckett, because obviously he's a neutral character. He's both light side and dark side, but obviously then we didn't have a neutral tag, but we do now obviously with Hondo. So I just felt like a Tobias Beckett and obviously his whole like gunslinging kit, and like it could be a really nice boost for the Solo smugglers and like a dash team or something like that.
Oh yeah,
could even add him as like a legendary, because we haven't had a legendary in ages. Like a proper legendary.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. If they seem to have abandoned that model. I don't know. I want Beckett too. That'd be fun. It's just unless they make another Solo movie, right?
Yeah.
Which I think they were working on one, but they got rid of it. But I don't think they will.
Well, he died in the first one at the end, didn't he?
Exactly. But then that would trigger them to make more content for that, right?
Oh, yeah,
Maybe an obvious character.
Yeah.
But I do think, from what if I recall reading, that they are going to make a Lando series.
Yeah, young
Young
Lando.
Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glover signed on for, right? So maybe he could come as part of that. Maybe it's possible.
Yeah, true. That could be. Depends if it's like a prequel to. I imagine it'd be a prequel to Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be like getting the Falcon and stuff, I imagine, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Tobias Beckett could show up in that, but he's just been one of those characters that I would like to see. And my other one, because I think on my list, I think about 6 or 7 of my 10 are actually coming to, or been or come to the game. And one of them was on the list that I would actually really like to see is Jar Jar.
That's an iconic character that they haven't brought. So I'm curious what they do with that whole Gungan faction, even. So
yeah, I just felt like if they could build like a whole like Naboo team for Padme, I think that'd be really cool. Because Padme's kind of obviously Padme has really good use of like Gideon and stuff in 3s and things.
Yeah.
But
yes, especially in Volcon right now.
Yeah, but Padme with like just a solely Galactic Republic or thing, or that sort of team, you don't really see anymore, because obviously a lot of the characters all pulled away for different teams. So you have all the Jedi with Qui-Gon Jinn, or just with the Jedi team if it's not in Grand Arena, and then you have obviously JMK that's putting a lot of the Galactic Republic away, and that kind of just leaves Padme in a tricky spot unless you're playing 3s, which she's normally alright in. But I think it'd be quite nice to have like a Padme Jar Jar like Naboo Gungan team. I think that'd be really fun to play with.
That definitely would be fun. I think you'd have to wait for like the anniversary of one of those, prequel movies. They might do some celebration for it and get some of those characters.
Yeah, I've always said that Jar Jar should be just like a really frustrating like evasion tank sort of thing that's really clumsy and could do like damage to his own team and stuff. I think that'd be
it'll
funny.
Be like 3PO. I bet it'll have confusion and some other stuff. I mean, I think they have some of the basics for a kit, right? That could go in there. So.
Yeah. And they have like the self-damaging thing with like BT1. I feel like that's got to be part of the kit, just like some sort of like clumsy self-damage or something, or protection up or something from Padme. Yeah, that's kind of
definitely fun.
More or less what I had for new characters. But that kind of goes on to the next question, which was from Phantom. That was for both of us, and that was, what galactic legend or theme do you think the next featured Star Wars Galaxy Heroes raid will be after the Leia Endor one? Do you reckon it might be one for a current galactic legend that we have, or for a new galactic legend after Leia? I'll probably start off with this one,
idea.
If that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. I feel like the galactic legend concept is going to move more towards the new raids. Obviously, we've had Jabba for Crate. We've got Leia for Endor. I definitely feel like that's probably going to be the model that CG are going to be moving towards. Obviously, we do have some things coming up. But I don't really know whether any of the new things coming up really have anything that's going to be worthy of a galactic legend. Obviously, we've got Ahsoka coming out in 2 days' time from this recording, and then we have a Rey Skywalker movie coming out in a couple of years' time, I think. So that kind of leads me to think that we might actually get a raid for one of the current galactic legends. I think, because I kind of feel like there's a lot of opportunities for the galactic legends that we currently have, like Rey, SLKR, or we like the prequel galactic legends like JMK and LV, for something in those trilogies. I don't know whether you would agree with me on that, but I just can't think of any new galactic legends, basically.
Well, I think it's Thrawn and Ahsoka would be the potential new galactic legends, right? They'd wait a year from the show to see how well it does, and then those are pretty obvious, good villain combos to release that are, at that level and stage. Because I think they've already done from all the movies, right? They did Rey and SLKR. You got, Palpatine and Luke, and then, Kenobi and Lord Vader from the prequels, and then from the the Return of the Jedi celebration they just did, we got Leia and Jabba, right? So
yeah,
I think they've kind of done some of the basics, so they might do something from the new shows, would be my thinking. And for any characters that are that big, it would be Ahsoka and Thrawn would be the idea. My thinking. We'll see how well Ahsoka does. So when it drops, which is soon, I'm excited.
Because I was thinking,
but I think, go for it.
As I say, I was thinking that we could, because I really wanted like a Bo Katan like Darksaber galactic legend. I think that'd be really cool from the recent series of Mandalorian. But obviously, we've just had a Mandalorian raid, so I don't know whether they're probably going to revisit that. That's the only problem. So I just want to.
I think it should come out as a legendary, like our legendary Mando, Beskar armor Mando.
Oh, okay.
I think you did legendary bow. I don't think she's Galactic Legend level.
Not yet.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Maybe the story arc, she recovers Mandalore, and they do 3 years in the future, and hopefully in the universe or something. Who knows? But no, I don't think she's that level. I think you're right, though. I don't know what their cadence is going to be for Galactic Legend. If they're really going to do a raid every 9 months, maybe they do a Galactic Legend every time. But they've been dropping one a year the last couple of years, right? We got Jabba last year, we're getting Leia this year.
Yeah.
So they're dropping one a year, but if they're going to drop a raid every 9 months, that's what they said in their cadence. I don't know if they're going to speed up the GL drop to that rate. So to your point, I agree that I think after Leia, that's the new Galactic Legend. After that one, we'll use, Rey or SLKR or both potentially in whatever new raid is, ramping up to the new movie rather than dropping a new GL. So.
Yeah. I mean, because we've obviously got 4 out of the 7 Galactic Legends are from the sequel trilogy. We've obviously got C, Rey, Ahsoka, and JML. And obviously we've got the 2 prequel Galactic Legends as well. But the only problem with obviously the prequel Galactic Legends that we have is that both the variants that we have are from their fight on Mustafar, which it really isn't like a raid worthy sort of. I can't think of like a raid scenario from a Mustafar type fight, basically. I mean, you could potentially have like a Jedi Order 66 raid or something like that. That'd be quite fun with Lord Vader. Yeah. JMK could probably be on. Is it Utapau when he rides the bloody lizard thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Against General Grievous and something like that. So I suppose there is potential there for some raids. And then obviously you have sequels. I imagine you could probably do like an SOK or JML one on the. I don't remember what that planet's called. Whatever the planet's called on the end of The Last Jedi, where it's like the Salt Flats or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I kind of blacked out during those movies. So
yeah, there's definitely some potential there for the current Galactic Legends we have for a new raid.
And that's what I think. They'll use that to help tie into whatever's dropping in the Star Wars universe at the time. So
yeah, true. So next questions are kind of more focused on the game in terms of like Grand Arena and things and battles and stuff. So the first one is for both of us. What tips would you give to someone that is fighting in Kyber 2 to get into Kyber 1? I've been in this spot for many months, but I keep back and forth and can't get myself into Kyber 1, and that is from Revan.
All right. Well, I mean, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? This one.
So I kind of feel like there's kind of like a. Obviously, Kyber 1 is just getting smaller and smaller. You do need the GP to get into Kyber 1 basically now, and that GP comes from having all the Galactic Legends, all the fleets, and obviously working on your datacrons and mods constantly. Without those 4 core components, I feel for like any sort of PvP account, you'll just really struggle to get up into Kyber 1. So I know Revan is, I think is around a 6 point. I think it's like 7 million GP. So it's obviously doing very well to be in Kyber 2 at this point. So I think from that point of view, you should be really pleased that you're fighting in Kyber 2, that for your level of your account, you're probably punching up way above your GP level would be usually. And obviously that's kind of like, everyone always sees Kyber 1 as like everyone wants to hit Kyber 1 sort of thing, but it's kind of, everyone needs to look at their GP and what they have and what other people's GP they have around their level, and then they just take that sort of like, oh, if I could be the top of my bracket of my GP, so if I'm 7 million GP, for example, in Kyber 2, I'd obviously be really pleased with that because I'd be punching well above my weight fighting like 9-10 mil accounts. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're 100% right that you need to have, there's a base level tools. There's a point where everyone's skill level gets really good as you climb into Kyber 1. And then if you don't have the tools, it doesn't matter how good you are, the other people are almost just as good, right? And it's almost an any given Sunday kind of attitude. And it's a football reference, but
yeah,
it's funny because right now there's not right now, but recently one of the top 8 went on vacation, and I know he had another guild member of his run his account, and we all just trounced it. And it shows how obvious it is that there's a huge amount. It's not just account size; there's skill to it too. And so, to Revan's point, he's doing fantastic, being 7 million at that point. But you're going to have to get really creative with counters and strategy to start beating some of the people that have both big accounts and skill. Which is what makes up most of Fiber 1.
Yeah, most of the time, like you say, it's more about trying to trip your opponent up. So if you can set like some sort of wacky team that they've never seen before, and it's just got some sort of like clause in there that can stop a certain counter that they might use, or you think they might use, obviously that'll go in your favor, and you might get a drop battle, which obviously give you the extra banners. But it's going to be a struggle if you don't, like I say, have all the Galactic Legends and things, because they're just you just expect that in Kyber 1 now. I play around the bottom end of Kyber 1, top of Kyber 2. And that's basically all I see. Is just everyone's got all the Galactic Legends, they've got all the fleets, even Leviathan and stuff now, and obviously a decent amount of good mods and datacrons and things. So just keep working on everything. Basically, keep going. You'll get there eventually if you keep working hard enough, or getting all those characters. The only other
thing I can think to say to add to that is just watching some streamers too, doing homework on people doing off counters. Obviously, watch Jam. Some of the stuff he's doing, but then kind of some of the other good streamers that are out there, like Asnick does some good stuff.
I
talk to him all the time. He's reached top levels now, has some fun counters, good strategy. We'll talk it through with you guys. The Russian streamer I'm facing right now, I don't know if you want to work on your Russian. Kafka runs some cool stuff. He's actually probably going to stream right now and beat me. Unfortunately, he cheesed me, and I was not prepared for that. So we'll see. But we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna go check that out after this.
Yeah.
And then obviously the whole Gambit crew does some cool stuff, like Xerath, Calvin Awesome, Solo. They all have some fun counters and stuff you can learn from all of them. So I would, personally stay away from the Arnold stuff, but that's me preference. But I think there's some good streamers out there. And then it's again doing your homework. Obviously, the .gg, the GAC Insight stuff is awesome. Really understanding what counters are working against which datacrons. It really helps a lot in terms of planning and then looking at your opponent and what they're doing and figuring out the best strategy. So,
yeah, you do have to pay for that though, don't you? You have the insight stuff.
It's
like the Patreon
it's a premium thing.
Yeah. But you do have the free one obviously as well, but that just won't give you as much insight as you need most of the time. Especially if you're fighting at like Aesop's level, you do need that insight for datacrons and stuff.
You do. It makes a big difference. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot.
Having that little information.
Because obviously I look at just the free one most of the time, and I'll see a counter. I think on my stream yesterday, I saw LV could beat Reva on his own. And then someone I didn't like the look of it from the screen, so I took Royal Guardian as my security blanket just in case things went a bit south. And literally as I entered the battle, someone was like, "Oh, it doesn't work as well anymore without the Dotcron." I was like, "Wait, what?" But luckily it was all right, but just because it was only a 1 Omicron Reaver, but I was like, "Oh my god, that could have gone completely south if I had the insight thing. I would have been able to have known that there was the Dotcron."
Voltron is different than Dotcron, exactly. Very different. So.
Yeah, so if you are looking to probably boost up with your Grand Arena, maybe looking at that Patreon side of .gg for the insights thing might be worthwhile if you are looking to spend a bit of money on it. I don't know how much is it. I don't know how much it is.
I don't know how much it is. Like $10 a month, or even less. Maybe I don't remember. It's not much a month. Some monthly thing. Not much.
Yeah, that talk about datacrons and things, that leads me on to my next question, which was about whether you think CG going to do any difference to time in battles. Basically, it's like when do you think CG will increase the time for battles from 5 minutes to 6 or 7 minutes? Are CG aware of this problem? They release new tunes with long animations. Draws the timeout is what I hate more in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes right now, and that's from Chris Riz. And I couldn't agree more. I hate draws and timeouts, and I think you do as well.
Absolutely. I do too, but I don't think they're not going to change the timer.
No.
One, I think they'd break the code of the game and nothing would work. But two, I think what they do is, I mean, this is, any mobile game, any platform, you create, a problem, right? And then you sell the solution. And so the solution is going to be R10, and it's going to, rather than boosting tanks, like R9 boosted tanks, it's going to boost, either support or attackers, right? So it's like, oh, here's your problem. Struggling to get through timeout, R10 some tunes and start chopping them down, right?
Don't say that. They might be listening.
They already know that. This is gaming 101. This is what they've been doing, right? So
yeah. Well, I suppose my more optimistic approach was that I think that CG just needs to work on the balance of datacrons, basically. Obviously set 9 is so dominant at the moment, and it's been probably the most dominant datacron set that we've had for quite a while, in terms of just like sheer bulk, and that's mainly where all the timeout issues are coming from. Like most of you guys probably would have seen my Aesop's video against Taro, where you face like 350% defense on most teams, and most teams just timed out because obviously you just can't work through that defense. I just think there's like a balancing thing that needs to be worked on. I do feel like people are saying like this new set kind of sucks, but I tend to disagree, because I feel like our whole we always compare datacron sets to the previous or the next one, if that makes any sense. So like set 9 is like completely stupidly broken. Like there's so much defense in there and like so much bulk and things. I kind of feel like set 10 is like a good step in the right direction, where things feel a bit more balanced. There's still like a crazy amount of like armor pen and stuff, which is I suppose not as bad as like if it was just like defense pen, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen with the next set. But I just feel like they're definitely moving in the right direction in terms of like these datacrons are a small boost for the team, rather than just like dramatic changes to the whole team sort of thing. So unfortunately I think they struggle from lack of testing, and I think even Chrome admitted that on some other stream or whatever, and that they don't really do enough testing. So I think they have an idea, and then they like pseudo test it, and like, oh, that's good enough. So, and then they throw it out there, and then we get to really be the actual beta testers. And turns out some of these things are way wild. But I like set 10. I think there's a lot of fun stuff. Like you're saying, it is a little more balanced, and I think we're only scratching the surface on some of the fun things you can do with the different level 6s. I think the level 6s are really fun for all the different factions. Yeah. So I just think basically what they need to do is just scale down the stats towards the top of the datacrons, basically. What's it, just like the bracket of what percentage you can hit. I think it's like, is it like 100% defense on like the level 7 and level 8 rolls, isn't it, on the set 9? I can't remember.
It's not like it's 100%, but it's like 80 or something. It's a lot, or 90 or something.
But I just think
you might be able to hit 100. You might be right. Yeah.
But I just think if you just drop those stats down by probably like 20 to 40% or so, that's just like so much more balanced, and it still gives the teams that you can put them on like a significant boost, but like it's not going to be really frustrating to fight. The amount of times I've faced teams where I think my first round this 3 season, I faced a Ray with 200% defense on, and also I had not anticipated the Ray to be as tanky as she was. I just stuck in it, just wasn't doing anything. I just couldn't kill her. It was just like so annoying. It's like, come on.
I know. I'm 0-3 against. I've faced it every single round. The Revan JTR teams with 300 plus defense. All of them, every single one. All R9s. And I've timed out every single one on JTR. And I have, a super max star killer and bringing, bulk cron and crit damage and Sith AB and all the right tools, and it's still. You just sit there whiffing on a stacked mastery JTR for the last 3 minutes of each fight. It's annoying. So I hear you.
I definitely feel like they're moving in the right direction with datacrons, though. They just need to just be more careful, I suppose, with the amount of characters and stuff they're adding, that they're just going to create more problems for themselves if they don't just like scale things down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious what they're going to do, though, because like, again, just like you said, they're creating so many characters, so many tunes, right? I end up so much at the end of each GAC, so much left, right? And so much tools and things I want to use that I don't get to use.
Yeah.
And so they got to do something, and I don't think expanding the board is what they're going to do, because that's just going to be, we're going to spend 3 hours a day doing GAC? I don't think so. It's going to be too big. So I think they have to do something where they're going to, like with the raids, where you only get a set number of factions, to use. I can see them doing a Grand Arena season where you're only allowed, you know, Ewoks, Wookiees,
Oh, wow.
this or whatever, right?
That would
Kind of
suck.
limited.
That would suck for me at least. Maybe not for you. You've got all your relics and stuff, but like, oh my god.
Well, I'm just trying to think, like, how else are they going to, like, you use all the tools, right? Play with all the toys, but then, you know, not have to spend 5 hours in the game every day.
I mean, I think that would make the most logical sense that they do something like that, but I feel like CG's lazy where they'll just add in another zone or something.
Yeah, but that's this. I mean, I think they've heard us with the sim button for Conquest, which might be the greatest invention of all time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I completely agree with you there.
So they've heard us on some of this at some point about game time or time in game. So they have some concept of it. So.
Yeah. So that kind of leads me to, well, these two questions are kind of, we have the 10th question and a bonus question for yourself. And the first one is, have you ever wanted to quit the game, and what was the cause for it? And would you say that the amount you've invested into the game, time and I suppose financially as well, makes it harder for you to leave if you did want to leave?
In terms of the second part of the question, no. I mean, it's all sunk costs. It's all about what's happening now and going forward. And I play the game because I have a lot of fun with it. Mm-hmm. As soon as I'm not having fun, I'm gonna leave. Yeah. I love the community of it. I mean, honestly, the community is what keeps me here more than anything else. I love all the people like yourself, the Pirate Alliance, all the guys in Ma that I play with, and some of the other, you know, servers I've ended up on, Scoundrel server, etc., that built friendships, etc., especially through COVID where none of us can go out, you know. It's a great outlet for that, and you know, had fun with all of this. And so that's really the big piece of keeping me playing the game is the community, and then, you know, an outlet for, you know, getting some of my competitiveness out and all these things. So it's fun.
Yeah. Definitely agree with like the community side of things. It's true.
Yeah.
It applies to me as well.
That's a huge piece. Yeah. That's a fun thing that keeps you going. In terms of any time I ever wanted to quit, the dodge meta was rough, not gonna lie. The beginning of that was tough, and I didn't prepare well for that Datacron set, and then going against Taro, I think had like, I don't know, 15, you know, 100+% dodge prawns.
Yeah.
And it's just like every week it was just like, figure this out again. But then I actually ended up having more fun with it. I started to figure out some counters for it and, you know, figure it out, and then kind of all came back and kind of rejuvenated me. But really the only thing that makes me want to quit is just real life, being too busy in real life. And my real life comes first, you know, family, work, those things. Mm-hmm. So if that gets too busy, yes, I'll cut the game. But till then, I'm gonna have fun.
I should have mentioned that. That question was from Jayhawker. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, I definitely go through like stages of feeling that I've wanted to quit the game. Either just throughout like frustration in like Grand Arena rounds and stuff like that, or just like I've not had a very good like Grand Arena week, which has mainly been caused by just like ridiculous datacrons and high defense and stuff. And then other parts are just, I think the time where I wanted to quit the game the most was when I was running both my accounts. When I had my Jammax account and obviously my current account that I use now, my Jam Solo account. That obviously took a lot of time to run both of them at the levels I was running them at. And obviously coming back down to one again, and it's just made a big difference. But then I'm a very lazy player at the moment in that I don't do TB battles or anything like that. I just do platooning and deploying. And then we don't do territory wars either. It's mainly just Grand Arena is all I do basically. So it's kind of, my game time has come down quite a lot, which I think has kind of helped me enjoy it a lot more. And obviously, like you say, with the community and things, and just my love for Star Wars, I guess, as well, has kept me interested. I'm just an avid collector, I suppose. I do like the collection side of things as well as the PvP and PvE side of the game.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, and I hope Johnny's listening and the rest of your guild officers. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to run 2 accounts. That's crazy. There's 0 chance. That would burn me out instantly. So, but yeah, no, it's good. It's like you said, it's about trying to find that balance, and it's good that you're able to kind of find out what works for you. So I think that's for everybody too, finding the right balance and, you know, what you're interested in the game and how to find it, make it work for you.
Yeah, it's like don't punish yourself by doing stuff you don't enjoy. Basically, just find there's plenty of guilds out there that have like there's some territory wars focused guilds, there's TB focused guilds, there's some guilds that focus on the raid. So it kind of just like depends what your whole focus is. Whether if anyone's thinking of quitting, just find a way around it that you can keep enjoying the game and obviously get yourself into a guild that does what you want to do. Basically,
yeah, there's tons of opportunities out there. So.
Yeah, I think that third part of that question where it says like, and the amount of time or the amount I've invested into the game makes it harder for you to leave. I definitely feel that applies to me, just because I've obviously been playing for basically the whole lifetime of the game, and obviously I've sunk a lot of just time into developing my account. I always kind of felt like if the game doesn't close down before I decide to give up, it's like it's like I just kind of feel like I just end up wasting I felt like I would have wasted all my time, I suppose, playing the game or just like developing my account. But obviously, luckily, I don't feel like I'm not just playing for the sake of playing. I'm playing because I still enjoy playing the game. So luckily, I'm not just doing it for the sake of giving up all that time, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, you definitely should be playing for you. I mean, the way I see it in terms of the sunk cost question, right, is that I don't know, that's all of that's done in the past, right? You've done that, you've put that into it, whether you stop now or don't stop now. But if it's going to impact your enjoyment going forward, and you're only playing because of the past, honestly, you're just going to make yourself miserable, and it'll show up on streams, and you'll do poorly and all that stuff. Like, it's just not going to be fun. So.
Yeah. I'm definitely enjoying the like streaming side of things, but that was more.
That's good. You're doing great. Streams are awesome.
Yeah, and then I suppose the last question of this video was from Nate, who from the Alliance. He wanted to know whether Capital Games had approached you at all for being obviously a #1 in Kaiba 1 for so long, to see whether they just said like congrats or something like that, I suppose.
I don't think CG cares at all. I've never heard from them. I don't think they will reach out. So I haven't seen anything from them, so I don't know if they've tried or anything, but I doubt it. And a lot of people reach out to me in Discord and know my handle, so
yeah,
if they wanted to, they could find me, but I don't think they care. I think they could do much better in terms of player engagement around that stuff. So,
well, they're too busy trying to make their flop of Lord of the Rings game work. So,
yeah, hopefully they'll shut that down and bring the resources back here and invest more in this.
I keep seeing adverts for it, so I don't want to play this game. I know I play Galaxy Heroes, but I don't like the look of this Lord of the Rings game.
No. I think I downloaded it, opened it, and it's like, not a chance, and closed it, deleted it. So that was about as far as I got.
Yeah, that's I think going to bring us to the end of this video. So obviously, those of you that are watching, obviously, thank you very much for watching. Obviously, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below if you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and I shall catch you in the next one.